To watch more Bhagavad Gita discourse videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Now they will say that sve sve karmanya abhiratah samsiddhim lavate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. He says, if people remain with the natural activity, whatever is natural varna, according to the varna, that means whatever the qualities he has, if he does that activity, follows that activity, remaining engaged in that activity, they attain the ultimate perfection, samsiddhim, labhate naraha. Sve sve karmani abhirataha, remaining engaged in their own karma, whatever is their natural karma activity, samsiddhim labhate naraha, they attain perfection. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. I will tell you, Krishna says, that how remaining engaged in our own natural activity, svabhava karma, swakarma, one attains the ultimate perfection. Do you get it? So now he is going to present that how a person following any, that either he is a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, how remaining engaged in his own activity, which is by his natural varna, natural qualities of his personality, how he will attain the ultimate siddhi. Now, why should a person take to an unnatural activity? It is only because of some desire. Is it not so? Normally, you will do whatever naturally you are oriented towards. You will not do unnatural. That unnatural activities are coming because some is more paid, some is less paid. And for money you are shifting from your activity to another activity. Or some is more respected, another is not respected. Manual labor is not respected. It should be equally respected. But it is not respected in the society, so nobody will like to take up manual labor. In Kerala, we don't have anybody to work now, almost. Everybody wants white-collar job. That will naturally be because white-collar job is giving more money and more respect, more honor in the society. So these are all the troubles the society breeds because of this imbalance. That is different. Then 46th also we did. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
Yatah pravrittir bhutanam
Yena sarvamidam tatam
Yena sarvamidam tatam
Swakarmanatam abhyartya
Swakarmanatam abhyarchya
Siddhim vindati manavaha.
Siddhim vindati manavaha.
See, this is the secret he is disclosing now. He said, Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachnu. How people attain the perfection by remaining engaged in swakarma, svabhava karma. He says, Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyartya siddhim vindati manavaha. From where the whole universe has come and is held by, where everywhere that truth is there in the whole universe. The objects may be fragmented, but they are all appearing in the single Atma or consciousness or Brahman. Now, if you do archana for that, if you worship that truth by your own karma, that means you offer your karma to that universal Lord. The whole universe is the jajna of that Lord you can think of. Jajna means it is all done desirelessly. In Bhagavad Gita, jajna means whatever you are doing, if you do without desire, it becomes jajna. Just the opposite of Vedic jajna. Vedic jajna is you are doing full of desires. Here, whatever you do without desire, it becomes an offering. So, this archana is not with the flower or mithai or anything. It is an archana with our work. And how will the archana be completed? When you do without any selfish motive, without any desire, without any ego. Then that becomes, whatever you are doing, it will become an offering to the universal Lord. So if you do like that, then you will attain perfection. Because what is our purpose? Our purpose is to get rid of the raga, dvesha and the ego. So if you are offering, means sometimes you have to do which you do not like to do. Sometimes you are not supposed to, you will not be allowed to do what you want to do. Depending on the necessity you have to do. And in doing also, you carry that I have done this, I have done that. If you do something sinful, you carry sinfulness. If you have done something great, you carry an elation. All these things will not be there. You have done whatever was to be done, you have done. If it is sinful, sinful doesn't matter. I don't have a feeling of sinfulness. If it is something great, nature has got it done. I have no elation for that at all. So that means the purpose is to remove the ego and the raga dvesha. That is done if we do the archana with our work. Do you get? This is the worship with the swakarma. That you are not changing your karma because of some attraction, repulsion, or because of some desire, or because of some sangha to something. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः
paradharmat swanushtitat
परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात्
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्.
He says that Shreyan swadharmaha vigunaha swadharmaha paradharmat swanushtitat. What is not your swadharma, that is paradharma, even if it is done well, consider swadharma to be better than that, although it has got some negative qualities. This we explained in the background of Bhagavad Gita. It is very important because Arjuna was asked to fight the war where he has to kill his own grandfather and teacher and what not. So it is one of the most sinful karma as per Arjuna's statement, ahovat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukha lobhena antum swajana mudyataha. My own beloved people we are going to kill because of the greed for enjoying the kingdom. The whole Bhagavad Gita is only changing Arjuna's mindset that you are not fighting because of the greed for the kingdom, but to establish the righteous rule on earth, which is the duty of a Kshatriya. So your karma has got that bigunaha, that it will not very Kshatriya dharma, we say daruna Kshatriya dharma. That means it is never very, nobody can enjoy the Kshatriya dharma. You have to cut off the head of the wrongdoers, you have to fight in the war field. Like Rama, you have to sometimes abandon your wife. All those things are, Raj dharma is very, very difficult. For a good king, the Raja dharma is one of the most difficult dharma. So there is lot of biguna in it. Biguna means negative qualities in it. But consider that to be better than following paradharma. What is the paradharma for Arjuna? He wanted to go to the forest, beg and become a sannyasin and practice kevala jnana-nishta. That was not his dharma. He would have sat in the forest trying to meditate and constantly Duryodhana will come and that will happen and this will happen and finally come back to Krishna and say that my mind is running away. So that is the paradharma. So it is true everywhere also, but in the context of the Bhagavad Gita it is very important. Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sahajam karma kaunteya
Sadoshamapi na tyajet
Sadoshamapi na tyajet
Sarvarambha hi doshena
Sarvarambha hi doshena
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
Dhumena agnirivavritaha.
This I have told yesterday also, that sahajam karma. Sahaja means which is born with you. That means as you are born with certain qualities, what your activities will be there, that also is born with you, which is sahaja, with you, that according to the qualities. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajati. Even if it has some negative traits in it, you should not reject it, because everything is necessary for the society. Can you think of the work of a spy? Going to foreign country, taking to so many stealthy measures, and how much punishing, penalizing that act is. But unless there are spies, will we be able to protect our country? So, sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api na tyajat. Even if there is dosha, you should not abandon it, because every work is necessary. Sarvarambhai doshena dhumena agni rivarbritaha. Whatever you do, there will be some other negative element in that. Don't worry about it. All the undertaking you have, something bad and something good will be there. To establish a factory, you have to take away the land from the poor people. Is it not? Earlier days, to establish the factory, you have to throw the effluent in the river. Everything is wrong. So, dhumena agnihi iva avritaha. As the smoke covers the fire. Fire is brilliant, but is not smoke covering the fire, the brilliance of the fire. Like that, whatever you do, some dosha will be there which will cover up the brilliance of that. Asakta buddhis sarvatra
Asakta buddhis sarvatra
jitatma vigatasprihaha
jitatma vigatasprihaha
naishkarmya siddhim paramam
naishkarmya siddhim paramam
sanyasena adhigacchati.
sanyasena adhigacchati.
See, he has come back, Bhagavad Gita has come back to its pet notions. What is that? Asakta buddhi is sarvatra. And jitatma means complete control over oneself. Vigatas prihaha, desireless. All the desires have gone, and asakta buddhi sarvatra. No ego, no attachment, as you say. Actually, this concepts we have to understand. Sakti, or attachment we say, it is an identity grown by constantly thinking about something. That is, it is my son, it is my children, this is my office, this is my instrument, or this is my school, whatever. That constantly thinking about the I and my and mine, we develop an identity with the object. In which chapter it is there? That asaktir anavishvangaha putradara grihadishu. 13th chapter. Asaktir anavishvangaha putradara grihadishu. This asakti and anavishvanga, there is a little difference. Don't confuse between asakta and asaktis. Asakta means who does not have sakti. But asakta means who has attachment. Asakta means attached, and asakta means disattached, non-attached. Asakti means non-attachment. Sakti means attachment. So these words you should be clear about, otherwise the meaning will become reverse. So, asaktir anavishvanga. Asakti means not having the sakti. Anavishvanga means not having the avishvanga. This sakti is the constantly thinking. We develop an clinging to it. And avishvanga is we identify ourselves with that. Suppose we have identified so much with my camera that if the camera is broken, I feel I have been broken. It happens. The building, I become the building. Bhagavad Gita is only speaking about the internal. That is, sannyasa is internal sannyasa. Naishkarma siddhi also is internal. It has nothing to do with the not doing anything outside. Sannyasa is not the formal outward sannyasa, because neither Arjuna nor Krishna were sannyasin. Is it not? But you can interpret in the outer manner also. Shankaracharya also has done like that. But generally it doesn't fully correspond to Bhagavad Gita. You see 6.1, the 6th chapter, first verse. Anashritah karma phalam
अनाश्रितः कर्मफलं
karyam karma karoti yaha
कार्यं कर्म करोति यः
sa sannyasi cha yogi cha
स सन्न्यासी च योगी च
na niragnir na chakriyah.
न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः.
He says that who is a sannyasin and who is a yogi, that both he is saying it is same. He is sannyasin, he is a yogi. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasin and also a yogi. Who? Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha. Karyam karma, that means karya means whatever has to be done. That means whatever comes to us to be done. Karya means to be done. Karma, that action which is to be done, he does. Karoti yaha, he does. In what manner? Anashrita karma phalam. Again, the same thing. That is, karma phala means not the objective result of that. But our ashra is from that objective result, I will become happy. I will gain this, I will gain that, and then I will become happy. That is the karma phala. That is, you should not think that by doing this I will become happy, I will gain this, I will gain that. No personal gain, personal satisfaction or anything. But you are doing because it has to be done. So your focus will be completely on the karma. It is not that the objective result is going to change. It will rather be the most perfect objective result possible in that situation. Because normally your mind will be upset, will it happen, then will I be sacked from the office, or will my family will have this, that and all. Always we are fearful, anxious, doubtful about things, and that hampers our work. In this case, nothing like that. Is it to be done or not? What is the objective result of this? This objective result is good for the society or not? If it is to be done by me, I will do. That's all. So he does anashrita, that means his refuge is not in the karma phala that it will make me rich, it will make me happy, it will make me fulfilled. No. I have understood that nothing from the world is going to make me fulfilled. The fulfillment is right there within me, in the soul itself. The moment we stop looking for something from the world, we become fulfilled. So, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasin, one who does like this, that is, who is not taking his refuge in the karma phala, he is a sannyasin. So they are not talking about the outer sannyasa. It is his mind. Na niragnir na chakriyaha. Because generally the sannyasins will not do any yaga jajja. We have the sacred thread and then we have the right to perform the yaga jajja. So we start doing, we develop the adhikara, that is deservingness for doing the yajna. Now before sannyasa you have to do viraja homam, where you even put the sacred thread into fire. That means after sannyasa you don't have any adhikara to do yaga, jajja, puja, anything. A sannyasin is not supposed to do any puja also. So niragnir means a person who has stopped doing the Agni Hotra or anything. Agni Hotra or any yaga jajna. Generally the sannyasin will stop doing it. He says, no, that is not that is only an outer symbol. If you are a niragni, okay. But if you do something having your refuge in the karma phala, that I will gain from this or that or so and then I will be happy, then you are not a sannyasin. So sannyasa is a completely internal development when you become absolutely independent, free from everything. You don't expect anything from anywhere, from anybody, anytime. I say it in one line very easily, but you have to think about it hours to actualize that. Na cha akriyaha, that is na niragni, na cha akriyaha. That is, does not do the religious actions of homa and all, Agni. And akriya means the other activities also. Because sannyasa will say that I have nothing to do. He will sit in the cave only and keep quiet. So just by renouncing the external activities and external religious as well as non-religious activities. Akriya means non-religious and Agni means religious. By renouncing the non-religious and religious activities, you don't become a sannyasin, he is saying clearly. This is the sannyasa of Bhagavad Gita. We have to compare the shlokas and come to know. You see in 5th chapter, 3rd verse. Yeyasya nitya sannyasi
येयस्य नित्यसन्न्यासी
yo nadveshti na kankshati
यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति
nirdvandvo hi mahabaho
निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो
sukham bandhat pramuchyate.
सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते.
He says, Jneyasya nitya sannyasi. Oh Arjuna, know him to be a nitya sannyasi, means always he is a sannyasin. Whatever he does, whether he is fighting a war or not, even he may fight a war, but he is a nitya sannyasi. Who? Yo na dveshti na kankshati. Who doesn't have any desire or hatred. That is, he is not wanting anything for personal gain, and he is not intolerant about anything, or he is not hating anything. So when Arjuna had to kill Bhishma, it is parallelly the other side of the coin is that he cannot have dvesha bhava towards Duryodhana. Duryodhana also he has to kill as a necessity. It was a need of the time, not out of enmity towards Duryodhana. Bhima did not have that. Bhima was very much given to enmity and dvesha bhava. That is why after defeating him, he stamped his foot on Duryodhana's head. Then Krishna told him that not to do that. He is a king. You should know that, to respect the king. Asakta buddhis sarvatra jitatma vigatasprihaha
जितात्मा विगतस्पृहः
naishkarmya siddhim paramam
नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां
sanyasena adhigacchati.
संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति.
So he says that this supreme perfection called Naishkarmya Siddhi, when there is nothing, no action at all, that is attained by sannyasena, by sannyasa, Tritiya Vibhakti, sannyasena adhigacchati. It is attained by sannyasa. Now what is the sannyasa we have seen in 5th chapter and 6th chapter? If that is the Naishkarmya Siddhi, means that Naishkarmya Siddhi is, he will not feel that I am doing anything. Like a machine that run by the universal Lord, by the universal nature, my body, mind, personality is doing everything. That is the Naishkarmya. Now this Siddhi is the Karmaja Siddhi. Don't forget the link. Why is he saying all this? Swakarma Nirata Siddhi. That is one who is dedicated to his Swakarma, Svabhava Karma. For him, Siddhi comes in this manner. And what is this Siddhi or the perfection? That he does everything as his natural karma, not having ego, not having raga dvesha. So the work becomes easy, as if the guna guneshu vattanta iti matva na sajjate. He doesn't get bound by anything. He doesn't get attached to anything. He doesn't cling to anything. He doesn't hate anything. Whatever comes, he goes on doing. So the doership is getting sublimated there. This Siddhi word, you can connect it to the 45th verse. He said that Swakarma Nirata Siddhim Yatha Vindati Tachunu. I will tell you how the perfection is attained by one who is devoted to his Swakarma. Now he says here, Naishkarma Siddhim Paramam Sannasena Adhigacchati. Once who does Asakta Buddhi Sarvatra Jitatma Vigata Spriha, then he attains this Siddhi. Now this Siddhi is not the ultimate perfection. That is why in the next shloka you find that Siddhim Prapto, let us read that 50th verse. Siddhim Prapto Yatha Brahma
सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म
Tathapnoti Nibodhame
तथाप्नोति निबोध मे.
Samasenaiva Kaunteya
समासेनैव कौन्तेय
Nishtha Jnanasya Yapara.
ज्ञानस्य या परा.
So he says that after having this Siddhi, how he attains the Brahman, that is the ultimate knowledge of the ultimate truth. Samasena, I will tell you, Nibodhame, you come to know, you know from me how a person who has attained this Karmaja Siddhi by his action, finally how he attains the Brahma Prapti, that how he has the Brahma Prapti, he becomes the Brahman. How it happens, I will tell you. What is that? Samasenaiva Kauntaya. That in essence, I will tell you, Nishtha Jnanasya Ya Para. This is the ultimate Jnana Nishtha. That is the exclusive Jnana Nishtha we have said. That is the full Nishtha, means Nisheshana Tishtati. Now Jnana Nishtha means there is nothing other than knowledge at all. What is the knowledge here? The Atma, the Brahman. So for him there is nothing other than Brahman, because everything has become Brahman for him. Is it not? The whole world, including his own personality, his mind, everything is but an appearance in the Brahman. So for him it is the Brahman. That is called the Jnana Nishtha. The moment a person slips from that Nishtha, he will remember that he is slipping and he has to get fixed to it. That is called Jnana Nishtha. Our ashram, always Swamiji says that we are given to Jnana Nishtha, not any other Nishtha. That is the moment we are slipping for this impersonal attitude of the mind, then we are slipping from our austerity. This is our austerity. So here the important point is all the four, these statements are true of all the four categories. He is not partial in it. Whether you belong to the Brahmana Varna, Kshatriya Varna, Vaishya Varna or Shudra Varna, whatever is your Swakarma, doing that you have to come to this, and then you have to take to Jnana Nishtha to have the ultimate Brahmic knowledge. These links, unless you remember, nobody will tell you, it is not written in the book. So you should have attention and write it down, otherwise you will be lost in Bhagavad Gita.
Join our live event on the 10th, 11th and 12th of October 2020. Register at www.globalgita.org.